Quran says, treat her with equity and kindness. If you have sex with your wife and abstain from adultery, that's ibadah. Quran says in Surah Isra chapter 17 verse number 32 that come not close to adultery, for it's an evil opening roads to other evil. So if you have sex with your wife and abstain from adultery, you're doing ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you dress up modestly in the right way, in the hijab, and the man follows his hijab, the woman follows her hijab, you're doing ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In short, any commandment you follow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you follow those, you are doing ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam is a religion. It's not a mere religion. The Arabic word is deen. Again, religion is not the full explanation. It is more than a religion. It's a complete code of conduct. It gives you a complete way how to lead a life. And Islam is the only religion which caters to both the body and the soul. The body and the soul. There is not a single teaching of Islam which you can show me which is harmful for the humanity or which is harmful for the body or for the soul overall if you analyze the principles. The Holy Quran says in Surah Mulk chapter 67 verse number 2 that we have created life and death as a test for the hereafter. We have come in this world as a test for the hereafter. The life that we're leading is a test for the hereafter. And the Quran gives the way to salvation in Surah Al-Asr, chapter 103, verse number 1 to 3, which says, وَالْأَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. That by the token of time, man is verily in loss, except those who have faith, those who have righteous deeds, those who exhort people to the truth, and those who exhort people to patience and perseverance. If any human being has these four qualities, faith, righteous deeds, exhorting people to truth, exhorting people to patience and perseverance, he will go to paradise, according to the Holy Quran. This was in short just a brief discussion, just a brief description about Islam. But I would like my brothers out here that there are many good things which people speak about various religions. What normally I prefer is that I always ask the person, most of my non-Muslim brothers, that I give an opportunity, that what do you feel is wrong with Islam? Because even if I speak 1,000 good points about Islam, but natural, the non-Muslim will think, oh, this Muslim, he marries more than one wife. This person, he keeps his woman in the veil. This person, he has non-veg. There are certain misconceptions in the mind of the non-Muslim. Therefore, I like always to give an opportunity that what do you feel is wrong with Islam? Even with your limited knowledge, whether right or wrong. I like when people ask me questions. And I'm, alhamdulillah, very broad-minded. I don't feel bad. Even if you want to speak against Islam, alhamdulillah. Because Quran encourages questioning. The word kalu, they said, is there in the Quran 332 times. And the word kul is also 332 times. When they say, you have to say. So I always encourage question answers. And I always first, instead of talking 1,000 good points about Islam to a non-Muslim, what I tell him, that what do you feel is wrong with Islam? With whatever limited knowledge, whether right or wrong. We can take it. Alhamdulillah, we can take it. And we like to clarify the misconceptions. There are several misconceptions in the mind of the non-Muslim because of lack of knowledge, or maybe somebody has not told you the true thing. So whatever you feel, without hesitation, you can be free here. I give the guarantee, alhamdulillah, that you can be free to ask any misconception that you have about Islam, any clarification that you have about Islam. Why don't we have pork? Why don't we have alcohol? Why do you marry more than one wife? Or whatever thing you have in your mind, this is your opportunity. I believe it's a rare opportunity. There we have in Bombay several times. Once a week we have such a session. Here I think it's very rare. You have opportunity, you're most welcome to clarify any doubt that you have. This is your opportunity. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Thank you, Dr. Zakir Naik, for a thought-provoking and practical approach to Islam. Your definition of universal brotherhood as defined in Islam your explanation of the 5 pillars of Islam in a simple, thought-provoking manner, and the most important, the various forms of worship and the misconception that worship only means salah. But worship also encompasses, there are so many manifestations of worship. All these points are well taken by the audience. And as per your open invitation, now the question answer session begins. A few things, as Dr. Naik said, you may ask any questions which you feel you need to ask about Islam, about misconceptions or the conception of Islam. Primarily, please ask, we have the questions as brief as possible so that we can accommodate as many questions as possible. We will have 20 minutes time for the question answer session. The questions should preferably be oral questions. We will have a gentleman going around with the mic, and you can just raise your hand and we'll send the mic to you. Those people who would like to ask written questions, there are slip of papers available with the volunteers. You can send the written questions to us, and we'll put them across to Dr. Naik. We will try to accommodate as many questions as possible. As said earlier, if there are some questions which cannot be answered right now, for paucity of time, we may arrange a meeting with Dr. Naik, with those people who have asked this question, which are not able to answer here because of time, at a later date. And now it's open. Any one of you who would like to ask a question may please raise their hand, and we'll send the mic to them. As per the request of Dr. Naik, the question answer question can go for more than the time allotted. It can go for an hour also. So almost all of you would have a time to ask the questions. Preferably, our non-Muslim friends should be given the preference to ask the questions. I would request the non-Muslim brothers to please ask questions, but the Muslim brothers may please refrain right now. You might ask the questions, but please refrain from asking questions. Let's finish. Let's have our guest of honors to talk about Islam first. And I can recognize Mr. Please identify yourself and go ahead. Mr. Cherian here.
My name is James Cherian. Mr. Zakir Naik, could you please explain the tolerance of Islam to other religions?
Mr. Cherian has asked a very good question, that what is the tolerance of Islam to other religions? And I've given a talk on Islam and secularism, tolerance or intolerance. And I said, in a nutshell, Islam is the most secular religion. By secular, I mean that we are very tolerant. And there are people who quote various verses of the Quran out of context, but out of context. We are tolerant, but our tolerance is very truthful. Many people feel that tolerance means that you scratch the other person's back so that he scratches your back. You say that Ram bhi Khuda, Christ bhi Khuda, Allah bhi Khuda, this is God, that is God, all these are God, and that's tolerance. What I like to point out to them is that we believe in tolerance and truth at the same time. Suppose there are two people. One person is saying that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. The other person is saying that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. The tolerance says that, okay, don't fight amongst yourselves. But tolerance does not mean that I say, okay, 2 plus 2 is also equal to 4 and 2 plus 2 is also equal to 5. True tolerance is that I agree 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. I don't agree that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, but yet we will live harmoniously. We won't fight over it. But I have to correct the person. Because if I don't correct the person who's saying 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, the poor chap will go lost in business. It's my duty as a Muslim that if any other person has a misconception, like if you are a teacher, if you know math, and if you don't correct your friend who's saying 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, then I will not call you a good Muslim. Similarly, whatever we feel is right, we live harmoniously. Quran says, La ikraha fid deen, in Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse number 256. But many people stop there. The complete verse says, La ikraha fid deen, there is no compulsion in religion, but truth stands out clear from error. If you reject evil and hold the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will take you from darkness to light. If you hold the hand of the devil, he will take you from light to darkness. There is no compulsion in religion. Forcing anyone at the point of the sword, at the point of the gun, is useless. But at the same time, Quran says, tell them the truth. Present the truth to them. Then it's on their will. Absolutely, it is their will, whether they agree or they don't agree. Therefore, Quran also says in Surah Kafirun, chapter 109, verse number 1 to 6, that say to those who reject faith, that I worship not what you worship, nor will you worship what I worship. I will not be worshipping that which you want me to worship. nor will you worship what I worship. To use your way to me is mine. First, you have to present Islam to him. And then if he says, I don't bother, I don't want to follow, then you can say, Lakum deenukum waliyad deen. To use your way to me is mine. Islam is the most tolerant religion, alhamdulillah. But we don't agree with wrong things. We say, this is the truth, this is the false. The choice is yours whether you want to follow or not. And the best way to invite people and talk about Islam, as the Quran says in Surah Al-Imran chapter 3 verse 64, Ta'alaw ila qalmatin sawa'in baynana wa baynakum, that come to common terms as between us and you. So when we speak with non-Muslims, we first come to common terms, so that at least let's follow the commonalities. This is the tolerance. If you want, you can have a detailed answer in my cassette, Islam and Secularism, Tolerance or Intolerance, which is available outside in the foyer, I believe. Hope that answers the question.
Please identify yourself and ask the question.
My name is Zuhair Sabhuri. I'd like to begin by...
I would request that if there's any other non-Muslim brother, as the chairperson said, that we prefer giving a chance to the non-Muslim brother. They can feel comfortable that, they can feel comfortable, they should feel this is their home. Like the brother asked a very good question. You're most welcome to ask any question.
I'm saying of other religions in Quran.
The brother is asked any existing religion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is there any definition?
The brother asked the question that is there any definition of any existing religion in the Quran? Yes, brother, several. Quran speaks about Ahl Kitab, about the Jews, about the Christian. Quran gives references towards Hinduism, etc. There are several references. And Quran shows a way how to speak with them. Quran speaks